Steve Reinhard. I farm in north central Ohio. We farm about 1,400 acres, and usually anywhere from 25 to 50% will be no-till. So we're probably, we usually no-till our soybeans in after our corn the previous year, and that seems to work really nice. It leaves a lot of mulch on top of the field, and it helps with water retention because we get less sunlight, directly on the soil itself. So that helps retain water for our soybean plants to grow. One of the big concerns we have is weed pressure, and sometimes because the corn fodder is a little heavier, we'll get less of a weed pressure from that situation. Sometimes we will no-till corn into soybean stubble, but one of the biggest concerns there is a lot of times the soybean stubble doesn't keep the ground as covered, and so it gives an opportunity for those early weeds to get started, and sometimes that creates a kind of a barrier for us to get through. The biggest concern is making sure that we have a dry seed bed and then a warm seed bed. And usually those are acres we're going to plant, towards the end of the planting season. However, last year we found out that if we planted early in April, we actually had our best planting window in April a year ago. Yeah, we've had a pretty warm winter so far. Not a lot of moisture, but we have had almost no snow. So actually going into the end of February, we're actually pretty warm at this point. So that would lead us to believe that we'll probably have an earlier spring than normal. And if we have that chance to get out there in April, we'll probably start planting even those no-till acres if the ground is fit, and at least we have an opportunity for it to warm up then after that. So we'll use some minimum till. So we have a vertical tillage tool that we'll use a lot in corn, especially because we'll use urea product, a little bit of urea to get the corn started. And when we do that, we use the vertical tillage tool to help incorporate that urea into the field. And then we'll also use some cover crops. And depending on what method of type of cover crop we use, that could either be no-tilled, or we may even do full conventional tillage on that cover crop. Probably not a moldboard plow. We may make more than one pass with some sort of vertical tillage type application. We use anything from rye. We have used wheat in the past. I like to use red clover, especially if we can get it planted, and then we're going to go into corn the following year. Those are the two that we probably use the most, and I would say probably rye and barley. Both of those two give us a nice root mass. So as well as having some green vegetation above ground, we have that root mass below ground. Well, I think one of the things it does is it actually helps build up the soil tilth because we have that kind of constantly growing product out there. So when we terminate the cover crops, we do get a little bit of an advantage of some more added organic matter back into that soil profile, and that helps, I think, along with water retention and some other benefits as well. No-till's been a good fit on our farm, and we probably over time will continue to go to more no-till. We've got some nice precision planting additions to our corn planter that help us move that residue out of the way to give us that nice seed, trench area to put that corn, and I think that's going to help in the future. And so it's just been a really pretty good fit, and every year, you get a little bit more knowledgeable, and you tend to be able to improve a little bit every year, and that always helps in that process.